All right, today we're diving into something pretty cool. We're going to see how a spiritual text that's over 3,000 years old, the Bhagavad Gita, might just be the most powerful management guide for today's world.
So thousands of years ago, the warrior Arjun basically said what every modern manager feels. Trying to control your own mind is like trying to tame the wind. I mean, who hasn't felt that exact same frustration in our crazy high-pressure jobs?
And that's exactly what the Bhagavad Gita gets at. It puts forward this radical idea that all the conflict, all the stress, and all the lack of motivation we see at work, well, it all starts right here, inside our own heads.
But here's a thought. What if this ancient scripture isn't just a bunch of philosophy? What if it's actually a practical, hands-on manual for the modern professional?
The whole story is set on a battlefield, which is a brilliant metaphor, right? Think about it. The stakes are incredibly high, the pressure is immense, and you have to make crystal clear decisions with everything on the line. Sounds a lot like the daily life of a manager, doesn't it?
And this is what's so fascinating. The Gita's core ideas, they're not just for spiritual seekers. They actually provide this powerful, practical framework for managing people effectively and ethically. And it's more relevant now than ever before.
Okay, so let's get into that framework. We're going to break down 3 huge concepts from the Gita that can totally change how we think about work and leadership.
So the first pillar is karma yoga. You can think of it as the art of selfless action. The big idea here is to fall in love with the work itself, the process, the craft, instead of just obsessing over the results. Now, here's the kicker. The Gita says that when you detach from the fruits of your labor, the bonus, the promotion, the credit, you actually free yourself up to do your absolute best work. You focus on doing the job with excellence, which cuts down on stress and, funnily enough, usually leads to even better outcomes. Next up, we have self-mastery. And the Gita is really clear on this. This isn't some soft skill. It is the absolute bedrock of good leadership. It's all about winning that inner battle before you can ever hope to lead others in the outer world. The text has this great line that basically says, a leader who masters themselves is their own greatest ally. But without that inner control, they become their own worst enemy. I mean, that's pretty much the definition of emotional intelligence.
Okay, this third pillar is a bit of a mouthful. Purushottama consciousness. But stick with me. Just think of it as getting that 30,000-foot CEO-level view of everything. It's the ability to see how it's all connected and to rise above the day-to-day drama and noise.
So for a manager, what does this look like? It means leading from a place of balance. It's seeing the bigger picture beyond just win or lose or profit versus loss. It's about leading with a real purpose that serves everyone involved. And to help us find that balance, the Gita gives us this handy framework of 3 fundamental qualities, or gunas, that drive our actions. At the bottom, you've got tamas. That's inertia, laziness, just total stagnation. Then there's rajas. That's all frantic, restless energy, a leader who's just chasing desires and burning everyone out. The sweet spot, the ideal state for a leader, is sattva, clear, balanced, wise action that leads to sustainable growth and true well-being.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This all sounds really philosophical. Does it actually work in the real world? Well, you'd be surprised. Some massive global companies have been using these very principles for a long, long time.
Let's start with the Tata Group. I mean, these guys were founded way back in 1868, and their entire identity is built on this Indian ethos of social responsibility and, you guessed it, trust. This is a perfect example of nishkama karma, or selfless action, in the real world. Get this, 2/3 of the entire company's equity is held by charitable trusts. That means the profits are literally funneled back into society. Actions like their huge donation during the pandemic, that's not just good PR, it's baked into their DNA. All right, let's look at another one, the IT giant Infosys. From day one, these guys basically wrote the book on corporate transparency and good governance in India.
Infosys' whole philosophy ties directly back to 2 other ideas from the Gita, Atma-vidya, which is self-knowledge, and Swadharma, which means fulfilling your unique duty. By being radically transparent and investing a ton in their employees' personal and professional growth, they build a culture where doing the right thing and succeeding as a company go hand in hand.
So, after all that, the philosophy, the real-world examples, what's the big takeaway? What does this mean for how we're all going to lead and work in the future?
Well, it really points to a more holistic, more human way of doing business. It's a model where success isn't just about this quarter's profits. It's about the long-term health and well-being of your employees, your customers, and your community.
And this isn't some brand new idea. The historian Arnold Toynbee said decades ago that the world might need to look to this kind of wisdom to find its way forward. And honestly, those words have never felt more true than they do right now.
Which leaves us with one last question to chew on. In our endless hunt for the next big thing, the next breakthrough in management theory, what if the most innovative, most powerful strategy has been right here, waiting for us for thousands of years? This ancient guide challenges us with a pretty profound thought. Maybe mastering the world of business really does begin with mastering ourselves.